You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello and welcome to Six Figure Dog Business. I'm your host, Ty Brown of SixFigureDogBusiness.com. Now this is the show where we help you start or grow your pet-related business to a healthy six-figure per year profit. Now in today's episode, I'm pleased to announce a return by popular demand. We recently had web guru Nick Crone on to explain how to get more traffic to your site. Now, we had so many people email in after the show that we decided to do another show. So hopefully you've taken his advice and you're now seeing more traffic to your website. Today, though, he's going to actually share how to turn that traffic into more money in your pocket. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
Is the coast clear?
Yes, let's go.
Are you sure they went to Petco?
Where else would they go?
Oopsie.
Calm down.
I smell presents.
Go to PetcoDeals.com and get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off hundreds of holiday items at Petco. That's PetcoDeals.com. Go now.
Uh-oh, step on it.
Okay.
Oh, not on my tail.
Petco, where the pets go. X-Power is a global brand that offers a complete line of stand dryers, cage dryers, and multiple blasters that cater to both home and professional groomers. Designed to be quiet, lightweight, and powerful, X-Power pet dryers will save you time, energy, and money. The X-Power B2 Pro at-Home dryer is the perfect holiday gift for family and friends. Please check out our holiday specials at viperpet.com and amazon.com. For more information, visit xpower.ws or call 855-855-8868.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, we're back, and as I mentioned earlier, we're here today with Nick Crone, who we recently did a show with. Thank you, Nick, for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and like I say, and you actually saw a bunch of these questions come through, but after our last show, we had a big response. We had a big turnout. People were excited to, because you gave some really simple things to do to get more traffic. And so,
Absolutely.
As I teased earlier, I think some of the questions that came in were along the lines of what we want to talk about today. Okay, we get more traffic, but, a lot of people complain that the traffic they get to their website doesn't do them anything, that they're not making actual money. So I want to talk today, because I know you're an expert at conversion, or actually, what do you call this? Converting...
I call it conversion rate optimization. So CRO is what I call it. Just another acronym for you, I guess. But and this is probably the most important thing. And I probably said this last time, that generating traffic is the most important thing. The truth is, when you have a tool, and we'll call it your website, what's the purpose of your website? If it's not giving you more business, then why do you have it? You know what I mean? And I talk with all of my clients about this every day. It's like, it's a no-brainer. When I ask them, would you rather have 1 in 10 people convert or 1 in 1,000? And obviously they say 1 in 10. Traffic is a good thing that you can do, and you should proactively build your SEO campaigns and your social media campaigns, but it's not going to do you any good if it doesn't convert. You know what I mean?
Right. In fact, I was just this brings up a good question. Well, it brings up a good point, because I was talking with a client the other day. Now, this gentleman has a website, and he was thrilled because he was getting, I think, 80 or 90,000 visitors per month to his site, which you would probably say is pretty great, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I asked him how much money he was making. He said, I'm not really making any money off of it yet. And I said, well, what's your plan then? He said, my plan is I'm hiring this guy to work on my site so that I can get it up to about 120 or 140,000 people per month.
Oh, my goodness.
And I kind of laughed, and I said, well, let's say you build a exactly. Well, that's what I said. I said, let's say you build a store and you get 80,000 people walking in that store and no one buys a thing. Yep. You're not going to say, okay, next month let's try to get 100,000 people to come into the store. And that's kind of what a website is. Yeah.
You know, the 3 tips that we're going to talk about today, if only he were to take advantage of these 3 simple tips that most people don't do, I mean, he would have a huge response. And I have a similar experience. I have a client right now, a large company out in Reno, and they have 45,000 visitors a month to their site, which is pretty good. I mean, most people have a difficult time getting 1,000 visitors a day, or even a month. And, they're just not getting any conversions. And so they brought us on. We started working with them, and we implement some of these things. And instantly, we're talking about quadrupling their lead flow just by these simple changes. So I'm pretty excited about them.
That brings up a good question. Before we get into these 3 things that you wanted to talk about, now when we say conversion, for those listening, are we talking about converting web traffic into leads? Are we talking about converting it into sales? What are we talking about converting it into?
Well, it changes every single business. Some businesses are service-oriented, carpet cleaners, drywall companies. You know what I mean? There are some companies that are literal sales who do sales online, whether through PayPal or an e-commerce type related thing. So there's just a number of different ways of what that looks like. Some people, they thrive off of phone calls. So I think kind of doing a combination of sales and or phone type leads, both of those are going to be really successful either way. I know of e-commerce websites where people can check out on their website, but they still drive most of their business over the phone type orders. So kind of a cop-out.
I think it is a good answer. That's, for our company, for my dog training company, we measure leads and we measure sales. And so, we like to see bigger traffic to our website. That's always wonderful. But if it doesn't lead to more leads, then we know something's off. And so we measure leads and we measure sales. Now, we measure leads in basically 2 ways. People that fill out the form on our site and people that call, and then sales, of course. And so those are the metrics that we use. And it sounds like, most service businesses that we're talking to right now, dog trainers, pet sitters, dog walkers, dog groomers, veterinarians, are probably in the same boat, right? Leads and sales is what we're trying to convert.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Well, why don't you hit us up with the first one then? You mentioned there's you've got like a 3-pronged attack to converting better. What's the first one?
Okay, so I'm going to make this super dumb, simple. I mean, so easy, anyone can understand it, and anyone can do this. And just think of your website right now as I'm telling you this. Putting your phone number in your header. I mean, it's that easy. I'm working on a client right now, and he had his logo and then 3 pictures underneath it. And, it's a specialty instrument that goes in your ear, kind of like a hearing aid, but also protects your ear. And just making this one change by taking out those 3 pictures, moving the logo to the left and slapping a huge phone number on the top right corner in his header. It's on every one of his pages, and it's in big yellow font. I mean, no one's going to miss it. And so doing that alone is going to drive more phone calls. And I'll tell you this, for those of you who do a lot of online sales, you're going to close, I'd say probably 80% more people if you get them on the phone with you, because they just need a little bit more reassurance in what they're looking at purchasing. And so if you can have that live interaction, your sales are going to skyrocket just by talking with them over the phone.
Now as you mentioned this, and this isn't any offense to anyone who doesn't have their phone number there, but, it is a dumb little silly thing that we can do. Why is it that, because as I look at websites for my competitors and whatnot, I find that most do not have their phone number in the header. Why would you say that is?
I think it's just kind of one of those things that they just don't think about. Most people just try to get them to email them or contact them on their contact page. Again, phone number is way better than email. So I think it's just one of those things that people just don't think about because it's online stuff, so they should just be doing online interaction, and that's not always the case.
Well, and so this brings up, maybe a tangent to this. In marketing, obviously, we call this a call to action. Here, let's put our phone number here and invite people to call it. With your clients, do you recommend that, obviously we put the phone number in the header. Do you recommend that somewhere on the page that we do more calls to action? Does that get annoying? Does that get salesy? How else should people put these call to action on their page?
I also suggest, so you don't want to put too many calls to action unless they're different. And we'll talk about some of the other tips. They're a little bit different that are really friendly ways of interacting with you. But like a phone number in the footer is also a great thing. If they're not looking at the top, they're going to be below the fold of your site and where they have to scroll down. And so having like a call us today, free consultation, whatever that looks like to you and your business, having it in the footer is also a great place to have it.
And I don't know that I have that on my site, but that's a good idea because you're right. If they scroll down, I guess what you're saying is wherever they are on the page, you want your phone number to be visible.
Bingo.
I guess that's what you're saying. Okay.
You got it.
Okay. And I think you've hit the nail on the head. For us, when we get people on the phone, we close a higher rate. I think each individual business probably, based on what you're telling me, probably needs to look at how they do their sales best. And make that their call to action. If their call to action, maybe they sell through email better. I don't see how that would happen, but if you find that you sell through email better, that's probably a better call to action or whatever the case. Or, if you want to interact with people on Twitter, maybe that's your call to action, although I can't see that being the case either. But, really just nail down what the call to action is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I even know of people who put phone numbers in all of their emails, in their company emails. It's not a bad idea. Wherever you're going to be touching someone, my suggestion is put a phone number there because more live interaction is going to be more money in your pocket.
Excellent. Well, that's super simple. You're right. Put a phone number up there. Before the show, I was even mentioning to you that I had that aha moment, a couple years back. When we redesigned our website, we put the phone number in the header. Boom. We immediately saw an uptick in the amount of calls that we got. And it's simple. You're right. Anybody can do it. Okay. Well, great first tip. What's the second tip?
Okay, I'm really excited about this one. So I'm actually going to skip to the third one because I'm even more excited about it. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how to break this down because it's got a little bit of a negative, some bad PR a little bit about it. But having a pop-up on your website can be huge in terms of getting more leads, okay? So pop-ups, when you think about it, it's just a negative thing. Well, it doesn't always have to be that way. So there's a great WordPress plugin that also works for non-WordPress related sites, and it's called Pop-Up Domination.
Is it really like popupdomination.com or?
I think it's .net or something. I'm not quite sure. If you Google it, you'll find it, right?
Okay.
Pop-Up Domination is one of my favorite tools that I recommend to everyone. The reason being, most people, their websites aren't very lead friendly, okay? They don't have them, so they're like trying to get... It's not always a lead capture page, right? Where the call to action is really simple and there's only one thing to do. A lot of them are just like, hey, read about us and read our blog and all sorts of different stuff, right? Having this pop up, here's how I structure it. Someone comes to the site, they read a blog post, they really love it. As they're leaving and as they're trying to navigate away from the site, they're already leaving. And by the way, everyone has to leave. They're going to close their browser or they're going to try to click the back button to go back to Facebook or wherever it's going to be. Everyone's going to leave your website, okay? Even if they contact you, the whole goal is to have them contact you before they leave. So having a very soft call to action, like a pop-up as they're leaving the website, as they're already planning on it, and it says, hey guys, I just want to offer you, some more value before you leave. Here's a free video on how to, do X, Y, and Z. Or here's a free ebook or white paper, whatever that looks like, or a case study on how to do X, Y, and Z. And you know what? If they want it, great. If they don't want it, then they're going to leave anyway, right? So you're not really hurting anyone. You're not hurting your brand or your image. And just by implementing this, I probably get at least a 10 to 15% conversion rate, which is actually pretty outstanding. So if I work for 100 visitors to my website, I'm going to get, 10-ish people to fill out this form, and it's just name and email, okay? So just having this one mechanism added to your site is going to get you 10 more people connected with you. Now, I recommend using, an email marketing service as well with this, like Aweber, where you can actually email them automatically. Once you set it up, you can kind of forget it. It emails them. They can keep coming back to your site. And maybe some of your emails are a little bit promotional that say, hey, purchase X, Y, and Z. Or come back to my site to buy this, or contact me for a free consultation. Who doesn't want extra leads? You know what I mean?
Sure. And so let me get this straight, because you're right. You mentioned at the beginning, a lot of people hear the word pop-up and they immediately have a negative connotation. So the way that you use a pop-up is when they're leaving. You don't use it when they get there and then boom, you pop something up in their face and says,
that's
hey.
That's obnoxious. I mean, that's not how I use it, because it is a little too promotional for me.
Okay. As you were actually describing that, my mind went to like, mail and telemarketers. Everyone says, oh, I hate junk mail and I hate telemarketers. But, there's a reason why they're still around, and there's a reason why those industries are actually growing right now, is because when it's done right, it works. And so when it's done wrong, people hate the junk mail and they hate the telemarketers. But when it's done right, telemarketers and quote-unquote junk mail people actually make a bundle of money. And so actually, this is a great idea. Pop-up domination, I'm going to look this up because, so you're saying the best way is the exit pop-up. They're leaving, they get a little
exit
thing.
pop-up, yep.
Excellent.
And it's not one of those pop-ups that you see on a sales page where like you go on a page and it's forever long and you're scrolling and whatnot. And then as you try to leave, it says you can't leave. You have to like click to see this stuff. I mean, you can just leave. And it's really friendly. It looks sexy. I mean, it has a high conversion rate. And again, think about the purpose of your website. Why do you even have it if you're not trying to get leads? So add this lead mechanism and it's going to help you get more of that.
Well, to drive this home a little bit further to our listeners, because our listeners, again, dog trainers, pet sitters, dog groomers, let's say maybe they're getting 1,000 visits per month to their website, which I would guess would probably be an average for a lot of the people that are listening. Let's say they only got a 5% response rate, or even less than that. 5% of 1,000. What's that? Is that 50? Am I doing my math right in my head? 10% would be 100. Yeah, so 50. So let's say,
that's not bad.
What would an extra 50 leads do to the average grooming business or dog training business? Or let's even go lower, and what would another 10 leads do? 10 extra leads could lead to 2 or 3 more sales, which could be huge, for most people in our industry, 2 or 3 extra sales per month. So
absolutely
awesome. Well, that's a great idea. That's one that I actually have not done, and I'm going to research directly after this call. Now, I want to get into the last one. Before we do, we're going to go to a commercial break, but I want to get into the last tip that you've got for us. So folks, stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause.
It's the holidays at PetSmart, so come one and all. There are hundreds of gifts for pets big and pets small. Toys only at PetSmart, so special and new. They'll love the gifts. You'll love the value. Hurry to PetSmart today for your very best friend and save 30 to 50% before the holiday ends.
The holidays are just around the corner. Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart and save up to 30% on awesome gifts for the pets and pet people in your life. Toys, collars, leashes, PetSmart gift cards, treats, and more. So shop early and save money. Go to PetLifeRadio.com/PetSmart today.
Dyson.
The new Dyson Animal Vacs are powerful bagless upright vacuums for homes with pets. Air muscle and radio root cyclone technology generates the strongest suction power to powerfully remove dust, dirt, and pet hair from the home or car. To order your Dyson Animal Vac, go to DysonDeals.com. DysonDeals.com to order your Dyson Animal Vac today.
Dyson. Music to your ears.
Hi, I'm Lisa Smith-Putnam, the host of the new and exciting show, Your Pets, My Dogs, here on Pet Life Radio. Your Pets, My Dogs will feature celebrity interviews, we'll talk to everyday pet owners, and more. Listen, I am here to entertain you each and every week, right here on Pet Life Radio. Again, that's Your Pets, My Dogs. I'm your host, Lisa Smith-Putnam. Your Pets, My Dogs. Your Pets, My Dogs.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, we're back, and we're with Nick Crone. Nick Crone is our web guru, and he's telling us about how to convert more of our traffic visitors into paying customers, into leads and into paying customers. We've talked about calls to action in the header and in the body of your website. We've talked about a polite way to do pop-ups that's non-invasive, not rude to your visitors, that can actually increase your leads by a ton. So, what's our last tip here? What else can you tell people that's going to drive more leads and get put more money in their pocket?
Okay, so to preface what I'm about to share with you, I have to talk briefly about inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. What is outbound marketing? It's where you go and you try to, it's push versus pull. and I'm going out to try to get more clients. Classified sites, billboards, radio advertisement. These things
Flyers.
are good. Yeah, but inbound marketing has a completely different feel to it. It's where I try to create as much value as possible and people come to me. I don't want to be hunting people forever, because once I stop hunting people, I have to, my lead flow stops. But if I create awesome value in inbound marketing type of strategy, people are going to find me forever. They're going to just keep finding me. So this is an inbound marketing technique that can basically help people find you more. And I call this, well, I don't really have a name for it, but it's where you put on your website something of the highest value, your number one thing, absolutely free, that you can give away to people. And you have to collect, in my mind, a name, an email, and a phone number. I always try to get a phone number, again, because I want to have the personal interaction with people. And when I can talk with them, my sales are just going to skyrocket, okay? Via email alone, they're not going to be comfortable enough. So let me give you an example of this. You can give away an ebook, free tips. They can subscribe to newsletter. Think in your mind the thing that is the highest value. If I were to compare, subscribe to my email list to get notifications versus, here's $5,000 course for free. I'm giving it to you digitalized. Get it here. You're going to learn X, Y, and Z. I think you're probably going to get a lot more people to subscribe to you if you give away something of actual dollar value. One person that I know that does this really well, who I've worked with for a long time, her name is Kim Flynn, and she's got a video on her website, okay? And it's not a long video. It's probably about 60 seconds. It's above the fold. When you go to her website, you see the navigation. It's right under the navigation on her sidebar, and it's on autoplay. So if you visit the website, she's going to start talking to you, and you hear her voice. You get to know her a little bit better, and this is one thing that a lot of people don't do. They usually just have like a picture of like an ebook or whatever their offer is, or maybe it's just even text. If you can put a video there, your conversion rate's going to increase dramatically because they get to see you, who you are. And I'm not talking about like professional video. I'm talking about raw and authentic video. I'm talking getting your phone out or your flip cam, whatever that is, and holding it out with one hand and just pointing it at yourself. Keep it super raw. People kind of dig that stuff now. And say in the video, I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. You tell that to them within the first 10 seconds, and then you say, look below and fill out your information. I'm going to give it to you. Tell me where you want me to send it. And it helps. So what are some of your feedback on that, Ty? What do you have to add to that?
So I would think, applying this to our listeners right now, let's say a dog walker. You go to the dog walker's website, they've got a video, and he's talking on, hey, I'm Joe the dog walker. I've been walking dogs forever. I really want to help you out with your dog. And, in fact, just so you can get to know me better, why don't you just fill in your information over here? And what I'm going to do is give you this report that I've designed that shows you 30 ways you can exercise your dog better so that you have less destruction, anxiety, and aggression with your dog or something like that.
Love it. Yeah.
And then so they get to know him better by getting his report. He gets their lead that he can then follow up with them and say, hey, did you get the report? Can I answer any questions? Do you need a dog walker, etc.? And it could be the same, picture a dog groomer. It could be, I'm going to give you, just fill out this information over here, and I'm going to give you a report on, it could be something similar for the grooming industry.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll tell you, this is just as a side note here, I want to tell people how we've applied this, because this is something we've done in our company for a while, and it's something that I think you want to test. And I was surprised by a test that we did at our company that I've got two main websites, right? One where I appeal to just Salt Lake City dog owners and try to help them train their dog, where our trainers come to their home, so it's a very local business. And then we've got another website that's a much more international business where we try to sell DVDs, dog training DVDs, to people all over the world. And I had a very similar call to action on both sites. It was, fill out your information. You're going to get some free videos and ebooks that we've designed about, how to train your dog. And the funny thing that I found was that on the international site, that converted very well. And it continues to. We have something very similar to that on our site right now. And to this day, we get tons of new leads every day. But on our local site, what actually converted a little bit better was, if you want a pricing quote and if you want some details on how our company works, enter in your information. people coming, they wanted price, they wanted, how can you help me right now? And so on the local level, we found that a different offering when we tested it got us more leads. And so every market's different, every offering's different. And so I just say that because the way that you're trying to gather leads, don't just do it, set it and forget it, tweak it, play with it, figure out what could work better. And you might find that something that surprises you, gets you better. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely. And I think even switching your offer every other month or so, if I've already opted in something, what's the chance of me opting in again? Slim to none, right? So changing it up and keep giving people more value is great. Now let's sum it up a little bit here, right? So we have the 3 tips. Someone's on your homepage, they know exactly how to contact you because the first thing they look at is your header. Then they see what you're offering for free, what we were just talking about, right? They're like, oh, this is awesome. It's different than what the call to action was above, but this one is tailored a little bit to me, a little bit more to me. And they may opt in there. And they're scrolling down, they're reading through your website a little bit. They bump into your phone number again in the footer. And then at some point, they're going to be done. They've got the value that they want, or maybe they just didn't like what they saw. They're trying to leave. And you give them a soft pop-up that says, here's even more value. And my suggestion is the pop-up and your sidebar offer need to be completely different. Because, again, if they're not going to opt into one right away, then you need a different offer of even higher value. I'm going to show you how I made 6 figures with X, Y, and Z, or whatever that offer looks like. And if you hit them with 3 or 4 different types of ways they can communicate with you, interact with you, you're going to have a much more successful time than even without these 3. And there's more tips out there, but this is like the bread and butter of the conversion rate optimization world.
This is wonderful because, you look at how somebody interacts with a website. There's a beginning, there's an end, and then there's how they do it. And these tips that you're giving us, share exactly how someone can formulate their offers and formulate their website. So at the beginning, at the end, and as they're browsing, there's various ways that the potential customer can turn into a lead, which obviously hopefully then turns into a paying customer. So that's awesome. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Great. Well, I'm here to help add more value to the listeners here, and I really appreciate being on the show, and I'd love to have more opportunities like this in the future.
Awesome. So if anyone wants to get more tips from Nick on website conversion or any of these other web guru things, just check out our website at sixfiguredogbusiness.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.